Hey, man, what a week. Um, a couple days ago, I want to say 2 or maybe 3, I get a Facebook notification um, from someone I know, I think, but I've never like formally met. I think she knows who I am. I know who she is. Um, and it just tags me, at Scott Radcliffe. You got anything? And so I read up, and there was a local DJ in the area that was looking for Christmas music from local musicians. He wanted to use them as bumper music on his radio show. And so I had to look up what bumper music was. And bumper music is music that they play like when they're transitioning from um, section to section, like coming back from a radio commercial. They might play this kind of behind the scenes and say, "Oh, that was blah blah blah," right? And I thought, "Oh, cool." So I read the thing, and I thought I messed it all up to begin with. He was looking for MP3s, and I thought he meant because he said or a link. So send me an MP3 or a link, and I falsely assumed that link meant uh, like Spotify or Apple Music or something. So I was like, cool. I sent him an email with the link to the song. Um, then I was so like, I don't know, overwhelmed. I don't know the right word. I just kept thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. I was like, this is crazy. Like, I never even imagined something like this might happen. So I got to thinking about it, and then I reread it, and I saw link probably means link to MP3. So I sent him a second email apologizing for the first one, like an idiot, that attaches the MP3. It's Mary Did You Know, the thing that's on Spotify. And I'm like, here's this thing, right? And I didn't hear anything. So I figure it just dies or whatever. I didn't really expect anything because I put like one song on Spotify. I haven't put any other music on there. I'm not out playing clubs or bars or coffee shops or anything. Although I would like to. But at any rate, I thought there's no way because all these other guys, they're playing coffee shops and restaurants and bars. A lot of them are solo artists and they sing. Some of them are instrumentalists. Um, Nothing is going to happen. And then today, I have years ago, when I first started getting into software development, one thing someone told me was just always Google your name, right? So you know if you're being mentioned somewhere or what your reputation is like. If you ever go to get a job, uh, people are going to Google you, and you ought to know what's out there. So I set up an alert for my name. So anytime something pops up, Google kind of sends me an email. Well, they sent me an email. My name had popped up, and there's this page for this guy's radio show that lists all of the local artists that they're going to use for Christmas bumper music, and lo and behold, I'm on this list. So I'm like, what? Like, I mean, I was just blown away, that um, that something like that might happen to me. I never, and maybe if you're super involved in this stuff and you never really considered this to be a big deal because you're on the radio all the time or you're playing gigs all the time. But to me, this is like mind blowing. So I'm going to be on the radio locally here. And I don't know how it works. I don't know if there's like, you can hear the tune in the background and he's like, oh, that's Scott Radcliffe, local guitar player. Or if they just play and don't say anything. One or the other. I don't know. Don't care. I think it's cool. Um, a lot of my friends and family know. So if they hear it, I'm sure I'll hear about it. Um, so that's pretty dope. So all in sharing probably something on Facebook that somebody saw and liked and saw something else and thought of me. So it's a testament to, like, I guess, promoting yourself or sharing things that you do to places that you think are pointless. Like, I thought Facebook was pretty pointless. Like, what's going to happen there? Like, nothing. Like, there's not some music producer on Facebook that's going to be like, hey, I want you to play on this record. But apparently there's somebody that says, hey, I saw this radio thing and I thought of you. So that's really cool. Super happy about that. Practicing a lot for Christmas service at church. And a little discouraged because I when I listen to a track, I hear certain things in my head, and then I try to replicate those on the guitar, and I can hear this slide part in this song. But when I play it with just the chords, I'll set up a looper, set up the chord progression, play the slide part through it. It sounds great. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is just what this song needs. But then when I play it with the track, it's garbage. So I ditched it, and I'm like, don't get fancy, just play the songs. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ditch the slide stuff. It's probably frivolous anyway and unnecessary, and I'm just gonna play the songs. But I do want to work on that in this coming year. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't sound quite like I wanted it to, so I have some work to do there. There was something else I can't think of. Oh, Spotify thing's going pretty good. I have like 10 monthly listeners, so that means at least 10 people listen to the song, so that's awesome. That's way more than I expected. I expected like one, me, maybe my wife, maybe two. So that's awesome. And I looked last year, I recorded a version of Silent Night, and I looked at that to maybe put that up there. I think it exceeds the licensing thing, so I don't have to deal with that. Right. And it's, I forget what they call that. But if it's so old, you don't have to do the licensing stuff and all that stuff. You can just kind of use it for whatever you want. But I listened back, and I've improved so much in the past year that's not passable for a streaming song. There's like these blips and bloops where, like, I was trying to like put parts together that are really audible and really bad. So I didn't do it. I have another song that I wrote called Rain, that a friend said sounds like Pink Floyd, which I didn't intend for it to. Just these things come out sometimes. So I am going to patch that up in January, and I'm going to put that up there. And then after that, I think I want to do like a 4 or 5 song EP of ambient guitar music and put that up there. And that'll be cool. So I'll have like a album of sorts, an EP. And I'll only have to worry about artwork once for like 4 or 5 songs. So that's cool. So I'll work on that early next year. Other than that, I often noodle around in the mornings with just the guitar, or at night. Often I'll come in here and I'll grab the guitar while I'm watching TV and just play it acoustically in the chair. And sometimes I come up with something that sounds kind of good. So I thought I would play this simple 2 or 3 chord progression that I came up with, and then I had a pretty cool melody over top of it, and talk about how you come up with a pleasing melody over top of a chord progression. That sounds good. So the progression is simple. It's an E minor, so it's E minor to B minor, back and forth. And then it goes down to the A minor, back to B minor. Start over. So what I typically do is I think about the chords, right? Not necessarily the scale. So the scale is E minor, right? Oh. So that's the scale. But I'm thinking like, this is a E minor. Or that, right? And then the B minor is this. And then the A minor would be this. The B minor could be this. And the A minor could be this. So I'm thinking of the kind of arpeggios, but picking notes out of those chords in conjunction with the scale. So we have 3 scales. Oops. Yeah. Sorry. Those are really the 3 scales. So what I thought sounded the best starting off was this part of this is the E minor, so this part. It's actually a 7 because so I'm like, so that's still in there, but it's just bending the 3rd down to the 2nd. So and then walking up here. Pick up that E. That's the 7th, which is also the 3rd of the B. Sometimes you hit wrong notes. So that's how you come up with melodies. You just play inside of there. And for me, every once in a while, my ear hits on something and I go, oh, I like that. And then I go back to it and I try to develop an idea. This case, it was that half step. Because it's shared here and in the B. So that's basically how I come up with melodies. Scales, chords, combine the two, both pentatonic and full scales, and then chords, different variation. Just different notes. I like to hit dyads and triads, mainly dyads, 2 notes together to create something that has a little bit of grit to it. So I recorded, I think, twice through that progression, and I'm going to play through some stuff and kind of show you how I come up with melody lines to enhance chords. That's really it. I play around with that until I like something, and I then move around that idea. It's super important to know where your chords are. So the E minor here, E minor here, E minor here. So A minor, connected right to that E minor. B minor. I didn't even use that. I could have used that. And then your pentatonics. So that's how I come up with melodies. It's really cool. Super simple chord progressions, and then play over top of it so something sounds good to your ear. And when it does, and you have that like that, oh, then go back to that and play around that, behind it, above it, at the note. And really, that's it. At least for me. Okay, see you later.